Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm a coach. I've been coaching for 12 years and I'm also the author of a book published last year called The Lipstick Principles. And primarily that's a book about letting go of worry and fear, living in the moment and loving life. And I brought the book together because I wanted to help people be present in the moment, enjoy what was going on and not have worry and fear ruling over them. So we're living in slightly different times at the moment, and what we're worrying about is a bit bigger and a bit larger than normal. So what I wanted to do through this page is bring to you some strategies and some techniques and some exercises that I use with clients on a one-to-one basis when we're helping let go of worry or release sort of emotion and that kind of thing, that you can use on a daily basis as and when you need them at the moment. My hope is that you come out of this sane, that we all come out of this sane and potentially even stronger. So everything that I'm sharing with you here, you won't use all of it all at once. Some of the exercises you might like better than others. You just sort of, what you could do is, this video is going to be about an hour long, and I'll demonstrate everything to you and explain why I would use it, when you would use it, how you would use it, and I'm going to demonstrate it to you. But I'm also going to take this video and split it down into segments. So each of the exercises will appear in a video below this, and you'll just be able to have those little sort of video clips to work on and return to whenever you like. Because we're living in uncertain times when we all suddenly want certainty and we're feeling a little bit out of control. For many years, I've talked to people about control. In my book, I talk about it actually because the one thing that we think we've got control over in terms of our lives and our world, what we're finding now is that we haven't got control over so many things. And now more than ever, we're seeing we've probably got control over one thing, which is ourselves, how we're feeling and how we're responding to things. I don't know whether you're like me. you may have had parents that have gone out shopping when you ask them not to go out shopping. You've got no control over your parents. Perhaps you're trying to work at home with children that just suddenly want to play with you. You've got no control over the children. We've got no control over what's happening outside of us. We've only got control over how we are in that moment and how we respond. And it's those responses that I want to help you with, because this is like a roller coaster, isn't it? I mean, I've always referred to life as a roller coaster. It has ups and it has downs, and it has ups and it has downs, and it's quite nice to view it that way. But this is like a condensed ride that's like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And every time you're just thinking, oh, I think I'm doing okay, you're kind of going back down and sort of having to attempt to enjoy the ride. But it's not a roller coaster any of us bought a ticket for. So I hope that through these strategies that I can help you with that roller coaster ride that we're all on. So fear, I'm just going to talk a little bit about thoughts, fear, what happens in your body when you're having fearful thoughts, and why, you know, there's that saying, think positive. It's not the easiest thing to do right now, to think really positively, but there are really positive things happening. But I just want to explain a little bit about why sort of adding positivity into your thought process at the moment is powerful for you. Remember, I want you to come out of this sane and strong. And what all of this that I'm doing with you now is about you. Being kind to you, looking after you first, because there's a lot of people out there that love you, rely on you, and want you to be okay, including me. So there's two primary hormones that run through our bodies. There's the serotonin hormone, which is when you're skipping down the road, the sun is shining, you've got the freedom to go to the coffee shop when you like, you've got freedom to meet up with your friends and have a drink. And that serotonin, when you're thinking happy thoughts, is the hormone that's released in your mind. So the synapses and all of that, they kind of go on, and you feel that calm, lovely feeling in your body. The other hormone is the not so good hormone, which is when we experience fear and anxiety, and that's the cortisone that's going around. Now that's the one that kind of almost freezes you. You know what it feels like. It's sort of, oh, it just sticks you and it's just not nice. And that is also really bad to have running around your body in terms of building your immune system and keeping you strong. So the more we can think positively, keep control and keep calm, the more of the serotonin is flowing through us. And the beauty about that is you're kind of almost building your resilience. And resilience is something we all need right now. So you're building your resilience so that when the triggers are triggered, when the moments happen, when you do have a slight panic, or you do have a worry that just comes over you, you've got enough reserves to kind of like pull upon so that you will be able to control in the moment and not go over. You'll be able to come back and not get drowned by those thoughts. So the more you build the kind of happy thoughts or positivity, it's more about the resilience that you've got in the future. So that's why that's kind of important. What happens when you're thinking really positively and feeling really good, the language that you'll often use is like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And your sort of vision of the world is more open. It's more about we than I. When you are experiencing fear, your kind of vision of the world becomes very narrow and you can only focus on what's in front of you. So you'll think more about what am I going to do? If you, I'll describe this in a rather odd way, I suppose. Let's say we are just skipping down the road, going to meet a friend for lunch. Do you remember those days? And mindful of what we're doing at the weekend, you know, might go on holiday, those kind of things. And then in front of you, just walking down the street, out of nowhere is a bear. Let's just imagine a big bear coming towards us. Every bit of adrenaline kicks in, all the cortisone starts to flood through our body, and you just go for it. You find the nearest lamppost, you climb up the lamppost, and you hang on for dear life. Dear life, you can hardly breathe. It's absolutely horrendous. And all you can think about is, how am I going to survive? How am I going to survive? How am I going to survive? And that's what happens when you think the fearful thought. It's like it just comes down to such a narrow focus that it's hard to expand from it. So fortunately, there isn't bears running down the street, but there is a virus that we can't see, and it's around us. So for us, it could feel like we want to run up a lamppost every minute and just hold on for dear life. I don't know whether you're aware of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a triangle. Actually, I think I've got a copy of it here. The hierarchy of needs, and it starts off with physiological needs. You know, have we got air, water, food, shelter? Is our safety being taken care of? You know, have we got security, employment? Have we got resources around us? And then you move up into, am I loved? Do I belong? And then it's like self-esteem and self-respect. And then it's kind of this self-actualization of what is my purpose in life. And it's interesting when I think about that pyramid at the moment, because if I'd have gone back 6 weeks ago, many people were at that, they'd got the safety, they'd got everything taken care of, they were loved and belonged, they had good self-esteem, and it was more about, oh my God, what's my purpose in life? And people were thinking sort of beyond the top of the pyramid. Whereas what's happened in the UK just now is that it's all gone back down, and you've seen, you know, that panic buying, that fear buying, where people have gone right back down the pyramid. And have I got a house? Have I got food? Have I got toilet roll? That's kind of what's gone on. So people have really adjusted where they are on that pyramid, and it may take a little bit of time to sort of climb back up. And obviously with like you know, people taking pay cuts and all that kind of thing, they're not suddenly feeling secure in terms of where they are in that hierarchy. So there's been a real shift in what's going on, and that's where some of that fear thinking can come. It's like it comes right back down to what's happening in front of me, and it's understandable. You know, we've all had to make sure that we're all okay. However, we don't want to live in that fear the whole time, because it's bad for us and it doesn't help us see the scope of what's happening in the world. So fear thoughts, they're going to come in and they're going to hit you. You know, you can't stop them. In terms of worry, you will have always worried. It's just that your worries at the moment will be different to what they were previously. Your worries maybe 5 weeks ago, or will I get that promotion? You know, how will the date go? You know, can I afford that holiday this year? But you will have worried, because it's a natural thing that we all do. And I do teach people about worry. I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second. So you can't stop the thoughts coming, but now we're worrying about bigger things, aren't we? We're like, will our parents have food? And will there be a job at the end of this? And they're kind of really big worries, but they're the worries that could really kind of take over us. And I call it like a helter-skelter. You start with a worry up here, and then you can quickly spend half an hour on this helter-skelter of doom and end up at the bottom of it. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about how I deal with worry, and what I've taught other people to do about worry, and what you can do. And this is really, really powerful stuff that you will use beyond the situation that we're in right now. Some of these strategies will give you strength moving forward and beyond. So you can't stop the thoughts coming, okay? So the thoughts are going to come in. And most worry thoughts start with the words, what if? You know, what if my dad can't get out for some food? What if we don't have any money this year and we can't get married at the end of this year? I'm getting married at the end of this year. It's just, that was a worry thought that just popped into my head before. What if my friend gets ill? What if we don't get out of the house for 8 weeks? And all these massive worry thoughts that can consume us, and they don't leave us feeling good. So I look at those thoughts as, if you take the sort of first words of each of those, as a what if is a whiff. Now a whiff is a smell, and in this case it's a really bad smell. Now you think about what you do when you get the aroma of a bad smell. You go, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and you move away from it, don't you? Try and get away from the bad smell. And I'm going to ask you to think about that, because there's some real good, sensible stuff in moving away from a bad smell or a whiff. So if you have a thought, that what if thought is going to be one of two things. It's going to be a thought that then triggers some action. So for example, what if my dad can't get out for food? Okay. That thought triggers an action for me. I can look up on online deliveries, I can contact his neighbour, I can and ask him would he be able to do that if that was the case, contact my uncle, would he be able to do that if that was the case. So that what if is almost like a strategy. You know, okay, I can deal with that, and then you can put that to one side because you've solved it. And then there are the bigger what ifs, I guess, that you've got no control over. And us accepting we haven't got control over things right now is part of us having some success in getting through this process. We've got control over us, that's it. You know, that's more or less it. So the thought, a worry thought like, what if my dad gets corona? That is a thought that, in actual fact, I'm just going to write something on a piece of paper here. So what if my dad gets corona? Can I do anything about it? Can I stop it happening? No. I've done everything that I can to help him be able to stay at home, look after himself. He knows, and he's a grown guy. I can't stop that happening. So with those what ifs, and I've written that on a piece of paper, you just have to let them go. I've got this, I don't know if you can see it actually. When I did my book launch, I created all these different stations. So I had a free hug station. So people were giving hugs. Do you remember when we could give hugs? I can't wait for hugs, and we had a let go of worry station. So we would put that in the in there, because there's absolutely nothing I can control over it. So if I know I can't control it, I need to send it away. When I come back to those whiffs that I was telling you about, if you imagine that that thought is in front of you and you physically push it away, like a bad smell, move away from it, the mind is saying move away from it. You're actually stepping away from the thought, distancing yourself from it, and hopefully sending it off. So sort of metaphorically, it's doing good to kind of say, send it away. Another little analogy for when those thoughts come is this. You will have always experienced worry. We've all done it. It just depends how much control we've got over that worry these days, as to how much time and energy we give to them. So you live wherever you live, okay? Imagine, you may even have one of these. Imagine that a couple of doors down, there's a neighbour that kind of gets on your nerves, but you're always really polite. They come and knock on your door, and inevitably, even though you don't really want them to, and you're really quite busy, you let the neighbour in. And they take up an hour or so of your time, and when they go, you go, God, that was exhausting. But they come back the next night and you think, oh, I'll give them the time. Well, what happens when the day that neighbour comes and knocks on your door and you decide, no, I haven't got time for you today. I haven't got time for you today. So you open the door and say, sorry, I haven't got time for you today. They look really offended. They're like, you normally let me in. But no. And then you're like, oh God, you might feel a bit guilty at first, but then you're kind of like, no, I feel strong. I feel strong that I've not given them the time. You can get on with your day, and get on with your work, and get on with everything. And then the next day, they come knocking again. Oh, can I come in? You're getting really quite strong now. You're like, no, I haven't got time for you today. Shut the door, and you feel like, it's a little bit of a freedom coming to you. The next day, they come again, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And then one day they don't come knocking, and you're like, oh my goodness. And the next day they don't come, and the next day they don't come. They might return 3 days later and knock again just to give it another try. But no, you haven't got time for them today. Your worry thoughts are like that, okay? So you can close the door on them, you can move away from them. It does take some power, it does take some energy, it does take some resolve to say, I haven't got time for you today. I haven't got time for you to get into my head and take me on this helter-skelter and take me down. Not today. Because if it's a worry thought that you have got no control over, there's no point giving it any time. No point giving it any time at all. So, when the worry comes, and it will come, think of it like this. If it's got the words what if in front of it, it's a whiff. It's a bad smell. Move away. And if it's one that you can take action on, fantastic. It might be a strategy. But if it's one that's just sitting heavy with you and it's not going anywhere other than sending you down a spiral, throw it in the bin, send it away, close the door and say, I haven't got time for you today. Now, that's getting rid of the worry, okay? So how then can you fill your mind with positives? there is no doubt that there is terrible, terrible things happening, you know, in our world at the moment. There are quite often lots of terrible things happening in our world. This is just slightly different because we are all experiencing it. So when I wrote the book, The Lipstick Principles, I wrote it. My coaching sort of methods, I've wrapped them up and called them lipstick principles. So just give me a structure when I do workshops and things, and I mostly work with women. It's kind of like, you know, you can apply lipstick and feel better. So we apply your lipstick. The reason why I was then finally went to write the book was because a couple of years, about 3 years ago, my mum died. And it was after my mum died that, well, to be honest with you, I was amazed I was still breathing. My mum was my best friend, I'm sure like plenty of your mums are. I spoke to her every day. I haven't got children of my own. She, you know, she was just my best mate. I talked to her about my business when I set it up, and I just never would have ever been able to imagine my life without her. And then I woke up the day after she died, and I was still breathing, and I just thought, I know it sounds weird, but I was quite amazed by that, because it's like, gosh, I'm still functioning, and I functioned well enough to, you know, give mum a lovely send off and survive. And then, anyway, we don't want to talk about that. But a few months after mum died, and if you've ever grieved, you'll know about this, that you just kind of function for a bit. You know, you might laugh at a few things, but it doesn't feel like laughing. You might smile at a few things, but you're not really smiling. You're just getting through. And then one day, I was walking down the street in Manchester, that's where I live. The sky was blue, and I was talking to somebody on the phone, and they made me laugh, and they really made me laugh, and I found myself properly laughing. And I got off the phone, and I had to stop for a moment. I went, oh my God, was that actually joy? Did I just feel good at that moment? And I was like, oh, I love the fact that I could experience joy again. And then I was walking down the road, and I was like, God, I love the blue sky. I love that everybody's so happy in Manchester today because they're all smiling. I can picture the road now. I'm picturing it full of people. It'll be empty now, of course. I love the fact that I can walk. I was jumping on and off the curb, you know, overtaking people. And actually, I'd done my Achilles tendon in the year before, so I couldn't walk. So I was like, oh, I love the fact that I can walk. Oh my God, I can talk. It just went crazy. And I started using the words I love in front of anything and everything. Like, I was using the words I love probably 100 times a day. And what I found was I was reconnecting with love and joy. I called it filling my love tank and going on a love rampage. So one way to kind of get that real positivity going in you, even when times are tough, like they are right now, is to go on a love rampage. So a love rampage means that when you are out walking, imagine that we would now be saying, I love the fact that I can go outside for 1 hour a day. I love the fact that I can go and see green space. I love the fact that I've got a roof over my head. I mean, I really love the fact I've got a roof over my head. I love the fact that I've got a partner to share this time with. I love seeing the blossom on the trees and knowing that nature is still sort of going on around us. I love technology and how it can connect with people. So the more that you say I love in front of things, it's a kind of welcoming more love to you. You fill in your love tank. And why is that important? Because we want the serotonin going through our minds and bodies so that we are feeling more resilient and stronger. So if you would like to fill your love tank, go on a love rampage and say I love in front of as many things as you possibly can in a day. In the book, I talk about 19 times, and that was kind of my optimum. I kind of noticed that that's kind of how it ended up sitting with me. I needed to really ramp it up because I'd not been feeling love of anything for a while when I first experienced that feeling again. And I actually started to feel like I was cocooned in love, and that's a really lovely place to be. So I highly recommend going on a love rampage. Now, let's get to some techniques for when we're feeling out of control, when the roller coaster ride spikes, and we just need some extra resources and tools to help us feel in control. Okay, so I'm actually going to take you through in a moment a method called the emotional freedom technique, EFT, and it's a tapping method, and it helps us reset the energy in our body. Because when we have negative emotions, emotions are totally and utterly fine, by the way. We don't want to have no emotions. I was walking to Tesco 2 weeks ago, and I got the rucksack on the back. It was my turn to go to the shop, and I hadn't been out of the house for a week at that point, and it was when it all changed. The world had changed when I got to the supermarket, and I walked back down the street, and I just had these big tears just coming down my face. I just felt so sad at what had changed and the situation that we were all in. I just felt so sad. And that's okay. It's all right to have those moments. We want to experience emotion. We're human beings. Just like we want to experience joy and love, we also, will experience some fear, and that's totally normal. And we'll experience sadness. They're all normal. So we do want to experience them, but what we don't want to do is get stuck. So a lot of people have talked about feeling like they've got a hand on their chest at the moment because of the anxiety and fear, or they've got a knot in their stomach. And that's when emotions get stuck. So what I'm going to share with you now is how to release it when the emotions do get stuck. So you might have also been experiencing more emotion, or more radical, more sort of like bursts of emotion than normal. When we all went outside and clapped for the NHS, the emotion, it was like a joy and a sadness, and that was just an incredibly emotional moment. So your spikes of emotion might be up. I had a moment last week where I just totally lost it. It was somebody had not followed the rules that we're all supposed to be abiding by, somebody quite close to me, and I lost it. I mean, in a way that I've not lost it for years and years and years, because I like to think I'm kind of in control and I'm happy most of the time. The weird thing about what happened then, though, so my partner, I don't think he's ever seen me lose it. He's never seen that. And then I was almost a bit embarrassed about how much I've lost it. And then there's a really weird thing that happens, isn't it? Which is not good, where you've reacted in a way that you didn't ever plan to. It wasn't something you ever wanted to do. And then you look at yourself and you don't like yourself for how you just acted. And those reactions then can cause this, again, downhill sort of spiral of, I'm not a good person, I'm not a nice person. I just, I was shouting. Not to anybody, just shouting about it. But I want you to forgive yourself in those moments, because that is going to happen. We're in this kind of real vacuum of emotion where nobody quite knows how we're supposed to be being and what we're supposed to be doing. And the way that's quite a nice way to, a little method for forgiving yourself and in the moment calming yourself down. And I didn't use that, but I didn't use it in the moment, but I should have done, and I have done on many other occasions, is I talk about, I suggest that you come from a place of love, not fear. So it was fear that created that spike for me, because I was thinking, if one person's not following the rules, everybody's not following the rules, and what's going to happen to us all? And so how I do it and how I share with people to do it is I'll put my hand on my heart, put my hands on my heart like that, and even that in itself, actually just give it a go. Just put your hand here and your hand on top. There's something very soothing about that contact, especially when we're not getting as much contact as we normally would. So you can feel that real warmth in your chest at that point. And then you have this mantra going through your head. I come from a place of love, not fear. I come from a place of love, not fear. And at the same time, you start to regulate your breath, and you do big breaths in through your nose, and I count for 5. 3, 4, 5, and then a big deep breath out through the mouth. And in, and out. And how I suggest that you imagine those breaths as you've got this going through your mind, your little mantra, I come from a place of love, not fear, is that you're breathing in love and new energy into your body, and you're breathing out any of the fear and stress and anxiety and stale sort of air that's been going on. So in the moment, you come, put your hands on your heart like this. I'll usually close my eyes, and I'll say, I come in from a place of love, not fear. I come from a place of love, not fear. As soon as I do this, my shoulders end up needing a little bit of a wriggle, because I could feel the calming energy going through my body. And then I'm breathing in, come from a place of love, breathing in love, not fear, and let the fear out. So we'll do that a couple of times together if you want to join in. Come from a place of love, not fear. Come from a place of love, not fear. Now at the same time, obviously what's happening here is you're regulating your breathing, and it's immediately calming you down. So that's a really simple technique to return to, of come from a place of love, not fear. Shoulders a little bit of a wriggle. And you can stay with that for like 2-3 minutes. However long it needs for you to feel calm. So come from a place of love, not fear. And feel your hands there on your chest. Just feel that warmth and that love and that energy that you're breathing in. And that's that calming energy that just goes. So an immediate technique, if you're feeling it happening, and that could be because you're triggered by an action of somebody else, or a worry thought that's calm, or somebody just sent you an email that seems insensitive, just to be able to stop for a moment and realise that any thought that you're having that's negative is coming from a place of fear, and the opposite can be true. It can come from a place of love. Okay, so now I'm going to chat to you about a technique, the emotional freedom technique, EFT, and this particular method is tapping. So with this method, you're almost, think of it a little bit like acupuncture, but acupuncture that you're administering yourself. And we're going to sort of tap on certain meridian points around our body. So the meridian points are the side of our hand, top of our head, just here above our eyebrow, here, here below our nose, here on our chin, here underneath our collarbone, and then here, for a woman, that's just underneath her bra strap. There's like a little squidgy point. And with this particular method, it's an amazing one. I return to this often. When I use it with clients, it could be that we're trying to release limiting thinking, or sort of blockages that are stopping us feeling like feeling happy. In this particular round, I'm going to take you through, and I'd love you to do it along with me, is we're going to be releasing, acknowledging and releasing any of the anxiety and fear that's in us at the moment, because anxiety and fear is real. It's here, isn't it? We've got worries that are going on and they're real. And my suggestion is that if you were to do 3 to 5 minutes of tapping each day, you will be making sure that you're unblocking the energy. You want your whole body flowing with good energy all of the time. And these negative thoughts and worries and fear thoughts and things like that, they can get stuck in you. And so this will help you to unstick yourself. What else do you need to know? So how we're going to do this is I'm going to demonstrate it to you, and you'll do it along with me. Now, before we start, it'd be good to give yourself a score, if you like, because what we want to see if it works for you, really, ultimately, because if this is one that really works for you, you'll return to it again and again and again, like I and many of my clients do. So let's say the score is 0 and 10. Now, 0 is you've got no anxiety, no fear, no worries whatsoever. If you're a 0, you're probably listening to the wrong video at the moment. And 10 is I'm paralysed by fear and anxiety. You know, I can't move. You know it's in you because your body is practically frozen the whole time. That's a 10. Now, you just give yourself a score between 0 and 10, and you know what's in your mind at that point. So as we start, you just be aware of that. We're gonna do this emotional freedom technique, this tapping technique, this EFT on fear and anxiety and worry. So you just sort of almost be aware of it in you. You've just given yourself a score. You know what the score is, and now we are going to tap it out. So we start. You follow along with me. Start by just tapping the side of the hand here. And then I'll start to speak. So I speak, and then you speak. You just say the exact same words after me, okay? So you're tapping here to start with. And you're just going to follow my lead and say the words. Say them out loud. Say them out loud. We want to acknowledge that we've got these emotions going through us so that we can release them, okay? So even though, you say even though, yeah, we've got it, Okay, even though I have some anxiety and I have some fear, and I can feel anxious and I've been worried, I can still totally and utterly love, that's just under there, love and respect myself. Okay, so we've done a little round of it. I'll just tell you a little funny story about tapping and then we'll return to it. I was working with a client, it was a male client, and we were tapping. He wanted to let go of a limiting belief that he wasn't confident. He didn't believe in himself. We were tapping on that and releasing that emotion attached to that particular thing. Anyway, when I was tapping, because I tap quite, you know, don't be shy, you know, give it a good tap. We want the meridian points to feel what we're doing. We want to really get that energy flowing through us. So I was tapping away quite hard. And when he was following me, he was going like this, real gentle. I was thinking, why is he going so gentle? Anyway, about half an hour after that, I went to the loo, and I'm dark, but the headband is covering the grey at the moment. I'm sure a lot of women my age are finding a way to cover the grey. But between, so what I've used in the past, just between colourings, is this little dark spray that you put on to just cover your little white bits. I'd forgotten I'd got it on. So I'd been tapping up here, and it was pitch when it was dark, getting it all over my fingers, tapping here, tapping here, tapping here. He thought I was bruising myself. He thought I was bruising myself. So he was tapping really gently. So don't be shy on the tapping, but you know, you're not smacking yourself. So what I want you to be aware of as we go through this tapping now is just be aware, everybody. See if you notice anything different as a result. Okay, right. Let's really get cracking with this now. So you've got the hang of it. We're on for it. Okay. So even though I can experience worry and I can experience fear and I can experience anxious feelings and even sadness, I can still totally and utterly love and respect myself. I know I can be anxious and have worry and even fear, but I can also experience love and even joy. I can have emotions like fear and anxiety. And these emotions can feel overwhelming and feel out of control. It doesn't always feel good. But I know that I can also experience love and joy. I can totally love and respect myself. I can even smile and feel happy. My emotions don't need to overwhelm me. I've got strategies and techniques to help them not overwhelm me. So that in the moment, I really do have control. I can feel in control. I feel in control. I feel love and joy. I feel love and joy. I know I'm loved and I love, and I can totally and utterly love and respect myself. Okay, so just give your shoulders a little bit of a wriggle. Take a big deep breath in. Always breathing in loving energy, breathing out anything else. And just do a little check-in with yourself. And has your score changed a little bit? You can go round and round and round with EFT. I learned EFT from Jack Canfield, who is a great American coach. I trained with him years ago. He's pretty cool. He got the book, The Success Principles, and he taught me EFT. But there is a guy called Nick Ortner on the internet. It's got a tapping solution. You can find loads on tapping on the internet, so please do go have a look if you'd like. Just redo these. This is the method to go to when you know you've got a blockage, or you know you've just been triggered and you want to do some self-care to help you remain in control, not go insane, and feel strong. Okay, so I'm going to take you through another little method now that's really, really cool. What we're doing with all of the strategies that I'm sharing with you is helping you sort of reset your energy and let go of emotion, let go of worry, let go of fear through a particular method and a particular exercise. Some of them will work differently for each of us. So we're all energy. When you look at, when you look at us as a human being, we're made up of trillions of atoms. When you look inside an atom, there is nothing there apart from energy. So our energy is everything to us. It's why moving our bodies is really good. I mean, one of the best ways of just resetting your energy, if you know you've gone in a bit of a slump, is to just have a dance and move around. I'm doing Joe Wicks in the morning at the moment, and I'm just loving like moving my energy with his. It's just brilliant. So the energy that we've got around us is interesting because you might be finding it difficult connecting with people at the moment, actually. So because nobody's in the same situation as another person. I don't know one person who's in exactly the same position as another person. So we're not really getting on each other's wavelength. Some people might be getting on your nerves more than usual, or you might be suddenly finding one person that you're speaking to more than you would normally because they just seem to be on your wavelength. The reason we talk about wavelengths is because we're all energy and we are on the wavelength of other people. What's a bit of a challenge at the moment is you don't quite know which vibe somebody's on. You might ring somebody who's just having a bit of a panic moment and their vibrations are bad vibes when you're just in a good mood vibe. The problem with that is, as our energy smacks against each other, we also rub apart like that. So I'm seeing lots of people not connecting in the way they did because their sort of wavelengths are going in different directions and jarring off each other. So if we're all, that feeling, do you remember when we used to be able to go out? If you walked into a room with people, let's say you're at a wedding or something, and you just got chatting to somebody, and you're just like, ping, oh my God, I love this person, like they're my new best friend, because they're on the same wavelength as you. In the same way, this could have also been a wedding, where you get sat next to somebody and you just immediately like, oh God, they're not on my wavelength. The wavelength thing is real. So what we're trying to do with all of these exercises is bring our energy levels and our vibrations back to where we want them to be. Because when we're vibrating and transmitting good energy inside our body, we're transmitting it out and our wavelengths are good. And the more all of us can transmit good and loving energy out at the moment, the better it's going to be for all humanity. So this method that I'm going to talk to you about now is it's a couple of different methods that I was taught years ago intertwined into one that I kind of now use. One was a very deep release technique, and one was a method called Sedona method, which I also actually got taught from Jack Canfield. So it's a mishmash of those that I've kind of changed over time, and it's one that I can also present to you here that you can do at home yourself. Obviously some of the work that I do is sometimes a bit more deep and intense, and I'd rather be in the room with somebody if that's what we're going to do. So this is a really cool technique. So we all have emotions, yeah, we have emotions, but we are not our emotions. So we can have anger, but that doesn't mean to say we're an angry person. We can have sadness, but we're not a sad person. What we don't want to do is let these emotions consume us. So we have emotions, but we're not our emotions. They're just all a big part of us. So if you have got a feeling, let's say it's sadness or frustration or just helplessness, maybe, just at the moment, we first of all acknowledge that it's there. Recognise where it is in us, and now I'm going to share a little technique with you for seeing where that is. We're going to have some fun around that, and then we ask that emotion, can we let it go? Because we've all got choices in terms of, do we want to stick with these feelings or do we want to let them go? We've got to consciously do something about it. I want you to acknowledge your emotion because I don't want it getting stuck in you. Because even if you manage to keep all your emotion hidden for the next 2 months, it's still there. We want it to come out because that's what makes us strong and sane. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through an exercise, and you just play along with me if you would. You'll enjoy this. Okay, so close your eyes for a second and just think about how you're feeling right now. What is your now feeling? What is your now feeling? And that feeling, just think about it. Where is that feeling in you? Is there a feeling in your tummy? Is it in your chest? Is it in your back? Bring your awareness to that area in your body, and then I'm going to ask this question. What is the emotion that's attached to that? What is that emotion that you're feeling? What is that feeling in you? And still, with your awareness totally on that area of your body, just let your mind answer this question. What shape is that feeling? What shape is it? What colour is it? Does it have a colour? Does it have a sense of weight or texture? Is it heavy or light? What is it? And now keeping that awareness of that colour, that shape and that emotion, in your mind, listen to these questions and answer these questions. With that emotion and that feeling, could you let it go? Would you let it go? When? Is now the time to give yourself permission to just let it go. Take a big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Bring your awareness back to that area of your body where that emotion was, and just notice as it changed. And if it's still there, we'll go back and we'll say, what is that now feeling? What is that emotion? Could you let it go? Would you let it go? And when? And is now the time to give yourself permission to just let that go. Take a big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. I find this a very calming one, whereas a tapping I find more sort of energetic. With your eyes still closed, if that emotion, that feeling, has still got a shape or a colour to it, just imagine that you can change the shape or the colour. Imagine that whatever colour it is, let's change it pink, or change it yellow, or change it to pink with yellow dots, and make it into a heart. And as you do that, does that take away the emotion? Does that make the emotion feel better for you? Okay, you can open your eyes, give your shoulders a bit of a wriggle. So come back to that one when you've got a strong feeling of emotion, just go through that process. Really, really cool thing to do with kids actually is if they're feeling emotional, let's say, you've got a child. So children don't question what you're asking them, whereas adults were a bit like, what does she mean? What colour is it? What does she mean? Where is it in the body? But yeah, unfortunately, we've got a few more questions. But with a lot of some of this is quite spiritual work. So I'll work with your conscious and your unconscious mind sometimes. So you can flip with a kid between those, no problem. And if your children are experiencing some emotion, say, oh, I'm feeling sad, mummy, I'm feeling angry, mummy. An interesting thing just to do is maybe just to say, just to say, oh, where is that angry in you? Where is it in you? And they go, oh, it's in my shoulder. You could say, is it in my shoulder? Is it in your arm? Is it? And they go, oh my God, what colour is it? And then if you ask them to just change the colour of it, it can just sort of disperse it for them. So that's a nice little technique for you to do with kids. So I hope you've enjoyed that one. Okay, right. My book is called Let Go of Worry and Fear, Live in the Moment and Love Life. Often when I'm working with people, we are talking about the future, all the exciting things that are going to happen in the future and working out strategies to get there. Sometimes I'm working with them letting go of the past because the past is weighing them down and they can't be present in the future and enjoy it. Now we're all, I think, at the moment very present. I think there's also this element of, I can't wait to get out of this. I can't wait to get out of this. However, we are in a moment in time. We're all living in history right now. We can't just be able to put it all behind us as something that didn't happen. Today might be our last day. It might be the first day. And being present and enjoying every moment is pretty important no matter kind of what circumstances we're in. There's some joy to be had. But being present and being in the moment is dead powerful. So below here, I've added some little meditations, and that is my biggest tip to you of all is to do some meditating. I'm going to take you through a little meditation actually after this one. But what we're doing in meditation in a way is just trying to stop this blooming crazy thoughts that are going on around us. And at the moment there's a lot of thoughts, isn't there? So what we want to do is just kind of turn things off for a little bit and give our brain a bit of breathing space. It's not a machine. If you're waking up at night in the moment and having crazy dreams and things like that, it's because your brain just isn't turning off. It's too much to think about, too much to process. So imagine that when I'm talking about being present, what I'm doing is helping your brain have a 5-minute break. And if it has a 5-minute break, it'll be fully operational for the rest of the time. And I do little guided meditations. They're just 5 minutes because I know anybody who's new to it finds it all very difficult, but you'll be able to tune into me for 5 minutes on the ones below. Now, presence, really being in the moment can also be really powerful without you actually having to meditate. You can be present in the moment while looking at flowers in the garden, or I'm going to share a method with you where you can just have it looking at a spot on the wall and you're kind of like unplugging your brain for a minute. I'll take you through that in a minute, but I'll just tell you a little story about something that happened to me, and has happened to me a number of times since. I shared with you that my mum was very poorly. She had cancer, and I'd been staying with mum and dad over Christmas. We had a very lovely, very, 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 very quiet Christmas together. A couple of days after Christmas, my mum and dad live in a place called Bridlington, which is by the sea. And mum was very poorly then. And I woke up one morning at about 5 o'clock in the morning. It's the middle of winter, it doesn't get light until about 9 o'clock. And my brain was going. My mum had always said all the way through her cancer, do not worry. And most of the time I managed not to. But those dark moments when you wake up at that time in the morning and you're on your own, you know, nobody's getting up for a bit. And I had this thought in my head, which was go and see the sunrise. And I realised that at the age of 46, as I was then, I'd never seen the sunrise over Bridlington Bay. And it's on the East Coast. I was cosy in bed, but I just thought, oh, let's do it. So I got up, sneaked out the house and drove down to the beach. I got really, really, really lucky. It was the frostiest morning. It was pitch black, but the frost was on the sand even. It was that cold. And I sat there and I was thinking, what time does the sun even come up? I'd gone down there about 6 o'clock, and I don't think the sun rises till about 7:45 or something like that. So I sat there really still, and I was hopeful about what I was gonna see, and I got so lucky because it was frosty and there was not a cloud in the sky, and it was pitch black, and then just the dawn started to come, and there was this little golden tip that started at the horizon, and I just concentrated on it and concentrated on it and concentrated on it, and the gold came, and I felt so connected to the sun. The sun then had this golden strip coming across the water. The tide was out, and it's like one of those ripply beaches, and all the little ripples of sand had water in them. So this trail of gold came to my feet, and I was really mesmerised by this moment. And I felt just so at peace, so at peace, so calm, and I just thought everything was going to be okay. And that's the real sense that I had, that there was no worry in my head at that point. There was terrible things happening in my world, but there was no terrible things happening in that moment. And that's about being present in that moment. There was no terrible things happening. I had another really, really big thought actually that day, which was how rich I felt. I felt like I've got all of this gold. I'm surrounded by all of this gold. I feel so rich. And it was a beautiful thing. A bit of an enlightenment kind of moment. And I've had that moment a few times since. There's a beautiful park at the bottom of my road. And in the autumn, the leaves are golden. There's a bench that I always go and sit on, and I'll have a moment, and then I'll share the technique that I'm going to share with you now. And then, but it's always when I'm surrounded by gold, those golden leaves, and I feel so present and connected with the universal energy, if you like. The other day I walked down, it was daffodils, and like it's gold again that filled me with joy and peace. Just being in that moment that's all I could think about. So being present like that, it stills the mind. That's where the peace comes from. That's where the beauty comes from. So meditation can be difficult. I just think it's nice to do to turn your mind off from everything else. That's why I particularly like guided meditation, because I'm not making shopping lists while I'm listening to somebody else. But the thing for this to do is what you're almost trying to do, so how you could get this is there's something called peripheral vision and like folium vision. And what it is if you concentrate on a spot, say on the wall, say you've got a little spot or crack in the wall or something, and you concentrate on it like really hard, so you are concentrating, you're wanting your eyes to almost go fuzzy. And that fuzziness that comes as a result will help to turn your brain off, make you feel very, very, very present in the moment. You can do it for a couple of minutes, for 5 minutes. You can just practice each day. Like a flower in the garden that you're just going to stare at until you kind of feel that moment when your eyes kind of go. Now, a few years ago, I went to a rather unusual meditation style class. I like trying all kinds of things that I think might be useful for me or for my clients. And this was a guy called Danny, and he was brilliant, but it was very unusual. So what you did was you actually stared in the eyes of somebody else. You sat and stared in the eyes of somebody else. So if you have got somebody at home, hey, look, you're not going anywhere. You could really do this with somebody at home. Just stare calmly, get your breathing in sync, and just see what happens. You'll feel very connected to them. Although the particular exercise I'm sharing with you now isn't necessarily about connection. What I'm wanting you to do is just to be able to turn off your mind a little bit. So I'm going to ask, if you want to practice this, you can practice it with me right now. I'm not sure how it'll work with it being a camera, but you never know. I'm going to ask you to just to let's see what happens for you, and if you can manage to just get yourself into that really relaxed state. So first of all, and you would do this if you were staring at the wall as well, as you regulate breathing. Once again, you do a big breath in I'm going to ask you to connect with me and just keep focused on my eyes. Okay, so we're going to get into a regular rhythm. And then I'm just going to look at you and feel connected with you. And you are going to look at me and feel connected with me. And we're just going to look each other in the eyes and just keep focused on it. Just keep focused on my eyes and see what happens for you in terms of your eyes and your vision and your focus, and just see whether or not this helps you get into that really sort of folian, peripheral vision, and just letting the mind turn off for a minute, because it's very re-energizing when it does. Okay, so we're back. We'll go back into that rhythm. And then I'm just going to sit for 60 seconds and connect with you. Okay, take a big deep breath in. Oh wow, I was looking in my own eyes and I managed to have quite a nice experience with that. So that's a form of meditation, a form of mindfulness, and a form of being present that's really powerful, and you can do it anytime. You're kind of looking to defocus, you know, like you're going in a trance. That's okay, because what your mind is doing is just shutting off from everything else. You can do it like watching a movie or whatever, just where you're not thinking. You're just like, and appreciate those moments when they come, because they are really powerful for us. Okay, so I'm going to end this with a little meditation. So I just wanted to talk you through how I do meditations, so that when you're listening to the ones below, you know, you can really gain something from it. Meditations, mine are all about 5 minutes, so they're easy to do, and they're just 5 minutes for you to be kind to you, to give yourself a break, and to have you feeling good for 5 minutes a day. And hopefully at this time you can find 5 minutes a day just for you. If you like them, loads of others that you can kind of go on and, but this should be a good introduction for meditation for you. So whether you lie down to do meditation or sit up to do meditation, it does not matter. It's usually quite a good idea to put earphones in when you're listening to it, and just gives you a bit more focus. If you're sitting down, feet flat on the floor, and just get yourself comfy wherever you are. And I'll always start with breathing. So I'll always invite you to breathe in through your nose. Breathe out. And I should breathe in all that love and energy. Breathe out. And I always ask you to give your shoulders a little bit wriggle. Just get yourself present in what's going to happen now. So I'm going to just do this little tiny guided meditation for you, and it's very similar to the one below, called The Words That You Need to Hear Right Now. Okay, so if you're following along with me, close your eyes now and just get comfy in the chair, wherever you are, or on the bed, or wherever it is, whatever's perfect for you. And then take a big deep breath in through your nose, count to 5. And then just breathe out. And as you breathe out, just let your shoulders relax. And breathe in. And then just let your shoulders relax. And breathe out. And relax. Just regulate your breathing. Give your shoulders a roll and just be ready to be relaxed. With that wonderful imagination of yours, I just would like you to bring into your mind's eye some images of the people that you really love. They may live miles away, they may live in the same house, they may have passed away, they may be very present. Just bring in those pictures, those images of people in front of you. Imagine them just in front of you, just smiling. And as you see their smiling faces, you smile too. How good it is to see them there and know how much they love you. And as you've got those pictures there just in front of you, just take your attention to the area around your heart. Area around your heart. Put your hand there and onto your heart if you like. You feel your heart beating. And imagine that your heart can send love right now. Almost like it can open up and send out little pink bubbles, like the emojis on your phone, sending pink bubbles like streaming out of a bubbles machine. And you can send little buds of love to each of those faces. Your heart just sends love to them right now. Oh good, and then you can also imagine that they're sending you love right now and your heart can receive love, and there's this lovely flow of love going between you both and all of you, as there is in all of us. And now just keep breathing regulated. And I just want you to listen to these words that I really know you need to hear right now. And I want you to really hear these words and see how they feel in your heart when you hear them. You are amazing. You are doing so brilliantly. You're enough. Even if you make mistakes, you're still brilliant. You can let go of worry. You're doing a brilliant job. You are loved. You are love. You're present. You've got this. You've really got this. Because you're enough. You're doing absolutely the best that you can. And everybody you know is patting you on the back and saying, oh my God, I don't know how they're doing it. You're amazing. You're amazing. Everybody wants you to know that. You are totally loved by everyone. Your family and your friends. You're breathing that love because you know that that's true. You've got this. You've really, really got this. And there's loads of love being sent to you right now to encourage you, support you. You've got this. Well done. Okay. Sit with that for just a second. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. And out of your mouth. Let that smile come on your face as you wriggle your shoulders. Really breathe that in. Oh, I love that meditation. Did you enjoy that? Okay, so what have we covered? We've covered what fear is, how to let go of worry, pop it in the bin or take action. We've covered EFT. We've covered how to just be in the moment and love, not fear. Done a little meditation. You've done some a method for just like popping emotion when it's in you. You've done amazing. So all of these little techniques are here for you, and I really want you to use them. This is what we use. This is so we don't go under. This is so we can be strong and be sane and come out of this even better than we went into it. Mostly I want you to let go of any worry and fear. Live in this moment and love life for what it is now and for what it'll be in the future and all the exciting things that lie ahead. I've been Amanda. I'm sending all my love to you. This is a big hug. Just now I give a hug on on the computer. I hope you can feel it because it's coming to you right now. You have got this. You are doing amazing. And these are just some new tools in your toolkit for helping you be even more awesome. So I'll hope to see you again soon, and do get in touch if you've enjoyed this. Okay, see you later.